Hello, welcome. We're going to do a practice today for cooling and calming. This is a great practice for the summertime, also a good practice if you're feeling hot in general, anxious, or if you just need some time to kind of cool off and retreat a little bit. You'll want at least one blanket, maybe more, and you'll also want 2 blocks handy just in case you need them. So before we go any further, let's start with a little adjustment for the hips and the back. We always want to sit up on a blanket if we have tight hips, knee issues, or back issues. The reason for that is we really want to support our body's natural alignment rather than compressing. So I've taken my blanket, my trusty blanket, and I like to fold my blanket in 3s here, so I have a nice lift. And then I'm bringing it back behind me on the mat. And I'm going to take my sits bones. Your ischial tuberosities is the official term for those bones. You might also know them as the pokey outy parts of your butt bones. So you're bringing those to the very top of the mat, the top of the blanket. And then as you move into your cross-legged position, if you're sitting in one, you're shifting the hips forward. So those bones start to slide off of the blanket a little bit and your cheek stays resting on the blanket. So you'll feel the pelvis seems to tilt forward a little bit. For most of us, the pelvis is coming to an upright position rather than a tilted forward. Some of us may have a slight tilt forward, and that's okay. So you can also prop one side up a little more by pulling the blanket under, and this can even out the hips. Check to make sure that the hip bone, the very top, is higher than your knees. If it's not higher than your knees, you'll want to build yourself up even more. And if it's uncomfortable for a knee, you can always sit with a leg extended, maybe both legs extended. If it's still uncomfortable, maybe sitting in a chair, or maybe even lying on your back with the knees bent, whatever works for you. If your knees are really high when you sit, then you'll want to take blocks underneath the knees, still prop your hips up so that they're nice and high, but have the support here. Now you'll notice as I'm sitting here, the ankles are curved, so we call this sickling in the ankle. And this is overstretching the outer ankle, which could lead to a tendency to kind of roll on the outside of your ankles, to twisting your ankles. And we don't want any of that. So if your ankles are doing that, the easiest way to adjust for that is to simply flex the foot, bringing the outside edge to the floor. And this flexing of the foot will also protect the knees and keep the knees healthy. The most important part of this is that you sit so that it's comfortable and maintainable. So we're going to be doing a cooling breathing practice. This is called Shitali, and a version of Sitkari. You'll be able to do one or the other. And we'll also be using a visualization practice as well as a mudra called Jalashaya Mudra. So I'm going to show you the mudra here. I'll again walk you through it when we center, just so that you have that awareness of what it looks like. So Jalashaya Mudra, we're clasping the hands with the right thumb on top, and then you'll be releasing the pinky fingers and the ring fingers, keeping them together, and then resting this right down at about the waist level. I'll let you know when to bring that mudra in. Again, I'll walk you through it. So for now, let's start with the hands resting on the legs. Eyes can be soft, looking down, or even fully closed. And start to settle into your breath. Greeting yourself on the mat as you are. Just welcoming all of you that's here today. And welcoming you as you are. If it's hard to focus, if it's hard to concentrate, if you're feeling agitated here, you might want to pause this video and go do another video, like our joint warm-up video or the bouncing video on YouTube, and then come back and join us where you left off. So we'll start with our cooling breath, and I'll show you the two options. So we'll be curling the tongue like it's a taco shell. Now I know some of you can't do that, so don't worry if you can't do that. Let me go through it real quick and then I'll show the alternative. So we're curling the tongue, inhaling through that opening. And when you finish the inhale, take the tongue, press the tongue all the way to the roof of the mouth. And exhale slowly through the nose. Then get the tongue nice and wet again. And inhale through that opening. And then place it on the roof of the mouth to exhale. Now the alternative is kind of a version of Sitkari, is to make a very small opening like you're sucking through a straw. And you're going to place the very tip of your tongue right at the edge of your lip. I like to call this version tostada shell breathing. Tostada shell is nice and flat, whereas a taco shell is the same thing, except the taco shell is curved. So the tip of the tongue is right on the edge of the opening. And again, you're drawing the breath in through that straw-like opening. At the end of your inhale, place the tongue flat on the roof of the mouth and exhale slowly through the nose. And then again, you'll open, get the tongue wet so it's cool as the air passes over it. And place the tongue on the roof of the mouth and exhale slowly through the nose. So it's tostada shell breathing. It's also what you might do if you were in public and you didn't want to stick your tongue out. So the version that you're most comfortable with, let's dive in. So get your tongue nice and wet. A great way to practice this is with a drop of peppermint oil. I like to use doTERRA essential oil since I know they're safe to put in my mouth, whereas I don't know with other oils. doTERRA is safe to put into your mouth. And just one drop, swish it around, maybe even take a sip of water, swish it on your mouth and swallow, and then the inside of the mouth will be really cool. If you don't have doTERRA essential oils, maybe even just brushing your teeth before you choose this practice, it'll give a nice minty feel to the mouth. So your taco shell or your tostada shell, get the tongue nice and wet, and then make your opening and inhale slowly through your opening. At the top of your inhale, place the tongue flat on the roof of the mouth and exhale slowly through the nose. Before you inhale, get the tongue wet again and inhale over that opening. Bring the tongue to the roof of the mouth, exhale slowly through the nose. Inhale through the opening. Bring the tongue flat, exhale through the nose. Keep going. Keep breathing as we now add that Jalashaya Mudra, interlacing the fingers, right thumb on top, releasing the pinky and ring fingers, extending them, letting them touch along the length, and then resting this mudra right down at the navel region. Inhale. So Jalashaya Mudra is the mudra of the lake. So if it's summertime and especially hot for you, perhaps imagining yourself sitting under trees next to a lake. Maybe you're in the mountains. Maybe there's a cool breeze. Maybe even the air is cool. Keep going with your cooling breath, letting yourself become cooler, calmer with each breath. Taking 3 more cooling breaths, visualizing yourself in a nice, cool, calm location. Maybe you're by yourself, maybe you're with beings. And when you finish your 3rd breath, continue to hold the mudra. And we're going to invite the sounds of O, U here. These sounds are the releasing tones for the 1st and 2nd chakra. And they help us to release anything that's blocking a sense of groundedness, a sense of flow and motion, a sense of feeling. They release blocks that are keeping us from feeling more connected to the body and to this planet. So we'll do that 3 times. Inhaling. Again. One more time. Releasing the hands, palms open on the thighs. Receiving. You might still be sitting by your mountainside lake or stream. As the breath is flowing, notice if you're feeling a little more connected, a little more here. And now connect with your heartfelt prayer. Your heartfelt prayer is that seed that the heart is planting for your personal growth, your spiritual well-being. If the heart does not offer up a seed immediately, then affirm yourself as open space, ready to receive that intention when the heart is ready. And let's take 3 breaths, imagining that this seed is true and already happening. And now let's nourish this seed and bring some energy into our practices using the healing tone of Om. Inhaling. And then releasing the hands.